warning layoffs could be in the thousands if this shutdown doesn't end. Not just furloughs, we're talking about out the door, you're done. Federal unions representing furloughed workers have already gone to court to block any plans for those layoffs, arguing you can't use a temporary shutdown as justification for permanent job cuts. Joining us now is Debra D'Agostino, founding partner at the Federal Practice Group. Her firm represented hundreds of federal workers in employment cases. Thank you for being here with us on this Friday morning, day 3 of the shutdown. We appreciate it.
Yeah, good morning. I wish I was here talking about Life of a Showgirl, but here we are talking about reductions in force.
Yeah, a lot less fun, definitely.
Yes.
Clear this up for us. Is it legal? Can the White House, in fact, fire furloughed employees? And if not, what's the law saying?
So it's never been done before. And looking at the law, I can't see how it's legal. So there's something called the Anti-Deficiency Act, and that means that the government is not supposed to be spending money when there's a temporary lapse in appropriations like we have right now, which is why the government shut down. So what that means is that federal employees are placed either in a furlough status, meaning they're at home not working and not getting paid, or if they're essential, right, if they are in law enforcement, that sort of thing, they're working, still without pay, but they're working. So what was really unusual about this whole situation is before the shutdown, the Office of Management and Budget, Russ Vought, who's been in the news quite a bit, said that they intend to do reductions in force if there is a temporary lapse in appropriations. And they issued guidance saying that the HR folks who would be carrying these things out are going to stay at work and be working, which also appears on its face to violate the Anti-Deficiency Act. We've really never seen this before.
So Debra, I mean, what's the recourse? If it's not legal that these federal workers be fired, then what's their recourse today?
Sure. Well, so first of all, federal employees just can't up and be fired, and that's actually also true in the private sector, right? I mean, if there's going to be a mass layoff in the private sector, the WARN Act requires that the employer give 60 days notice. It's similar in the government. The government, if they're going to separate a federal employee by a reduction in force, they have to give that employee a notice saying, we intend to separate you because of the reduction in force. Here's the reason, right? We don't know what the reason's going to be. We're assuming they're going to allege shortage of funds, but the government could be back in business next week, and then what? But they do have to give 60 days notice, and federal employees also do have the right to appeal if they are removed. It's a constitutional right. It's been one that we've long recognized for decades, that the Supreme Court really settled. We don't think that's going to go away. So we do assume that federal employees will have some appellate rights if they do end up getting separated through a RIF.
Now, meantime, the White House is saying that issuing reduction in force, or RIFs, are allowed under the president's authority to supervise and control the executive branch. So that may be a workaround or a loophole that allows for this to happen. What do you say about that?
Well, we certainly think they're going to try, right? They were very clear about that yesterday. I do expect that either this morning when federal employees are showing up, or when they log off tonight, or at home even, they're going to get notice that they're going to be separated by a reduction in force. I do think that there are already piles of legal challenges in the courts. There are piles of administrative challenges. My firm has filed several appeals on behalf of federal employees who are separated by RIF. Unfortunately, this fight's going to take time. I don't think there's going to be any quick answer. I wish there was, but I do suspect that this is going to end up being a long fight. I feel terrible that federal employees have to carry this one on their backs.
Curious, when you hear from some of these federal workers who must be very, very anxious, what are the emotions like for some of your clients right now?
Emotions are high. I think there's so many federal employees who have really given their life to federal service, right? They have these amazing, unique skills, right? They keep pet food safe. They They just do all sorts of very interesting things that we never even think about happening behind the scenes, but they keep the United States a great place to live. It's really just a bitter note to end on, right? I think many federal employees did plan to devote their whole life to federal service and then retire, and to have that sort of cut short and to end on this bitter note, especially now if it's based on a temporary lapse and it's not even a sort of genuine budget shortfall. I mean, Congress has not passed a budget cutting any federal programs yet, right? So, it's hard though. It's really devastating.
All right, Debra D'Agostino,
sure.
thank you so much for weighing in this morning on the impact on all these federal workers.